You know, when parents decide to separate, it feels like you're staring at this giant, complicated legal maze. But here's something we often miss. For your child, these aren't just legal paths. Nope. They are the actual blueprint of their childhood. Today, we're going to look at how every single choice you make is shaping your child's world, but we're going to do it through their eyes.
So let's be clear, this isn't about who wins or loses in court. It's about really, truly understanding the story your child is living through, right now. It's about the lessons they're soaking up about conflict, about safety, and yeah, about love. And all of it is based on the path you're walking down.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we're going to put on our child's eye view glasses. Then we'll walk through the 4 main paths parents usually take: going it alone, trying mediation, building a collaborative team, or heading into a full-on court battle. And don't worry, we'll wrap it all up with a universal toolkit, stuff that will help you protect your child no matter which path you find yourself on.
All right, let's dive in and look at these 4 paths from a kid's point of view. First up, path number 1, going it alone. This is when a parent represents themselves. You'll hear it called going pro se. I mean, you're suddenly juggling being a parent, a lawyer, and a case manager, all at the same time. And for a child, that creates a very, very specific kind of pressure.
And believe me, this is a really high-stakes trade-off. On one hand, if you handle it well, your kid sees this incredible model of strength and persistence. Plus, any money you save can go right back into making their life more stable. But if it goes poorly, that strength just looks like chronic, overwhelming stress to them. And that's when a child can start to think, this is my fault. I'm the reason they're so stressed.
So what does that actually look like from their point of view, day in and day out? Well, they see a parent who is just exhausted. One minute you're playing a game, and the next you're snapping at them because you're on an intense legal call. They see the stacks of paperwork, and before you know it, the roles can flip. Your child starts feeling like they have to take care of you.
So how can you protect them? How do you build a shield around them? First, create what I call a court-free bubble. Even if it's just for an hour a day, that time is sacred. It's just for connection. Next, build yourself a support team so you're not an island. And this is so important. Let your child be a child. They are not your spy, they're not your messenger, and they are definitely not your therapist.
Okay, let's move on to path number 2, mediation. The whole goal here is to find some common ground, right? For a child, the real impact of this path is how it directly changes the way their parents talk to each other.
Wow, this slide really shows the 2 completely different worlds that can come out of this. When mediation works, it brings predictability, it brings peace. Your child gets to see their parents actually cooperating, which frees them from that awful feeling of having to choose a side. But when it fails, or if one parent gets steamrolled, it can lead to really unsafe agreements and a kid who just feels hopeless, like the grown-ups will never figure it out.
So, what's a kid actually noticing through all of this? Hopefully, a lot less chaos. They feel the tension in the house start to go down. They might see you and their other parent being more civil. But you know what can also happen? They can get really confused if you come home and start talking about the deal or who won what. Because to them, this isn't some business deal. This is their life we're talking about.
The key here is you have to stay centered to keep them safe. So before you even step into that mediation room, write down your top 3 goals for your child. Practice some calm phrases you can use when things get heated. And please don't give them a play-by-play when you get home. And listen, this is crucial. Never let yourself be pushed into an agreement that feels unsafe. Your child's safety is worth hitting the pause button for.
All right, on to path 3, which is a totally different way of thinking about this. It's called collaborative practice. What makes this so unique is that it's designed from the very beginning to be all about the child. You are literally building a team with the other parent to solve these problems together.
The potential here? It's huge. Your child can actually learn one of life's most valuable lessons. That grown-ups can disagree, even strongly, but still work together to find a solution. But, and this is a big but, there's a real danger if it's all for show. If serious issues like abuse get glossed over just to keep things nice, or if the process is so expensive that it drains the family of resources, it can completely backfire.
So what's this feel like for your kid? Well, this path can feel a whole lot calmer. They see parents who are organized and fighting less. They might even meet new people, like a child specialist, whose entire job is to think about what's best for them. And that sends such a powerful message, doesn't it? It tells them, hey, you matter. We're thinking about you.
So you've got this team. How do you make it work for your child? You have to be honest.
Don't let being polite stop you from pointing out behaviors that are really hurting your kid. Use the experts. Ask them to help you create things like transition rituals between homes. And maybe most importantly, you give them permission not to worry. You tell them, hey, the grown-ups have this. Your only job is to be a kid.
Okay, now we need to talk about the fourth path. And honestly, it's the most intense one, the court battle. Aggressive litigation. More than any other path, this is the one that has the power to shape your child's fundamental beliefs about how the world works, for the better or for much, much worse.
And this distinction is absolutely critical. When litigation is used as a shield, it can be a literal lifesaver. A judge's order can stop real harm, like violence or neglect, and create safety where there was none. But when it's used as a sword, it teaches a child the most devastating lessons, that love is a war, that you have to pick a side, and that grown-ups will lie to win.
For a child, living through a court battle is, well, it's often just pure chaos. Their life becomes completely unpredictable, with schedules changing at the last minute. The air at home is thick with tension, whispered phone calls, and anger. They might have to talk to strangers, evaluators, or therapists, and they can end up feeling like they're not a person, but a prize to be won. Protecting your child here, it takes everything you've got. It requires extreme vigilance. You have to build a firewall between your court life and your parent life. You have to tell them again and again that it's okay to love both of their parents as long as it's safe. And you have to be proactive. Keep a close eye on their mental health and seriously consider finding a therapist who gets the trauma of high-conflict divorce.
Okay, so we've walked through all four of these very different paths. Let's take a step back now, because it doesn't matter if you're on the quiet path of mediation or in the middle of a loud court battle. There are some core principles that will always, always protect a child's heart.
And if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this: emotional availability. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect or happy all the time. It just means you have to be reachable. It's being able to look your child in the eye even when you're falling apart inside and say, hey, this grown-up stuff is stressful, but it's not about you. I'm right here. You have to say this next one out loud, and you have to say it over and over and over again. Because kids, they take on blame that isn't theirs. You have to be the one who constantly tells them, with your words, this is not your fault.
And right along with that, you have to give them this gift. You have to free them from the impossible job of trying to fix the adults. Their job isn't to make you feel better. Their job is to grow and to learn and to feel safe, period.
So when it all comes down to it, what's your core mission as a parent through all this? It's simple, really. Create stability in the middle of the chaos, use neutral language when you talk about their other parent, filter the information you share. Just ask yourself this question: how much of this adult mess do I want my kid carrying in their emotional backpack every single day at school? Your job is to help them travel light.
So, let's end with a question for you to really think about. Because look, one day all the legal papers will just be collecting dust in a file cabinet somewhere. But the story of this time, the story of their childhood, that's the story they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. So what story are you writing for them, starting today?